It's the ESCtips.com Melodifestivalen podcast, bringing you unrivaled coverage of Eurovision's premier selection show.
If you love Schlager, bad pronunciation and all things Swedish, stay tuned to ESCtips.com.
Hello and welcome to the Melodifestivalen betting podcast of 2016. It is that time again. We have two very special guests, our usual guests actually. It's Tobias Larsson from Finland and Aftonbladet's entertainment and Melodifestivalen and Eurovision correspondent Torbjörn. Hello both.
Hello there.
Hi there.
Hello. Tobias, you always seem to go first actually, so let's get Torbjörn out of the way. What are you doing at the moment, Torbjörn?
We're in the middle of preparations for Melodifestivalen. I've been doing preparations for Melodifestivalen for months, but now it's about to start. So that's where I am at the moment.
Okay. Any more Eurovision scoops coming?
Might have a few things up my sleeve, but we'll see what happens in that department.
Brilliant. Tobias, what are you doing now?
Well, I wish I had any scoops like that could sort of bring all the attention and focus to me. I'm working on, we're making a third season of a Eurovision-themed quiz show for Finnish television. So we just started working on that. So I'm sort of more looking to the past of Eurovision actually at the moment. But I'm very much looking forward, of course, to Melodifestivalen, to the Finnish national final that begins at the same time as Melodifestivalen, and then the big final in the Globe, of course.
Now, Andy can't be with us today. I'm sure you've all been wondering. So he's left me to the Swedish pronunciation again. So I've got Torbjörn on hand who will gladly help.
Indeed.
He will jump in politely.
And I will do the very discreet giggling in the
back. So Heat 1 is in Göteborg. In running order for Heat 1, we have Samir and Victor with Badanaka, Pernilla Andersson with Midtgold, Mimi Werner, Ain't No Good, Albin Jonsien and Matthias Andreasson with Rick, Anna Book with Himmel för två, Robin Bengtsson with, we're not sure, Constellation Prize or Consolation Prize.
It is actually Constellation Prize. It's a game with words here.
Okay. And last up is Ace Wilder. Don't worry. Who knew she'd get the pimp slot, eh? Anyway, Torbjörn, go on, dazzle us.
Well, what everybody's saying is that Ace Wilder, she's back because she wants to win. I'm not sure because a couple of months ago, when her name was first mentioned, everybody says this is a winning song. But now, closer on to the competition, I've heard quite a few people say that, well, it is a strong pop song, the same type of song, modern pop song she did last time, but it's not as much of a hook in it. So I can't say that she can be sure of making it through to the final, but she will put on a hell of a show. So that is something to look forward to. And in this competition, Samir Victor with Bada Nakna, which means swim naked, they are of course going to do something. They're going to do their best to top last year's performance. And their aim is, of course, to make it straight to the final, not go via the second chance contest. But also, don't forget Anna Book. She's loved in Sweden for her. Well, she's been an artist for 30 years. She's only had one song, that's ABC. Don't mention Samba Sambero from 2006 because it's not really a song. But at least it wasn't a hit. Whereas ABC was really a major hit here. And on top of that, we must not forget Albin and Matthias. Albin has had a major hit before, and Matthias comes from EMD, who's had several hits in Sweden as well, and in Melodifestivalen. And also Robin Bengtsson, the guy with the very weird song title Constellation Prize. It's a game with words, playing with the word for star sign or star constellation, and the meaning of a consolation prize. And I think that he can. That's my wild card in this competition, I'd say.
Okay. Certainly my early thoughts were, will Sammy and Victor... is there a danger that Sammy and Victor and Ace Wilder could almost cancel each other out and only one of them gets through? Direct.
Absolutely. If one of the two acts doesn't live up to the expectations, that might very well happen.
Because they almost fish from the same pond for votes, don't they? They're going to be aiming for the young crowd.
That is certainly true, although Ace Wilder wouldn't say that that's her main audience. It is really, it very much is so.
Tobias, what do you think?
I'm thinking also that, I see why everyone thinks Ace Wilder is the big thing here. But seriously, there hasn't been too much coming from her since she made it to second place in Melodifestivalen 2 years ago. I don't know what people would expect of her. I don't know. I think a large part of the audience maybe won't expect anything at all because she turned into this one-hit wonder and they know the song, but they don't remember her name even. So I wouldn't be, obviously she has something going for her since she's been put last in her semi-final and everything. But I'm not so sure. I think that there is a possibility or a risk, how we want to see it, that perhaps Samir and Victor and Ace Wilder will be the ones going to Andra chansen, and that we will have a surprise here, because Swedish televoters are often quite weird in the first semi-final. So I wouldn't be surprised if Anna Bok was the one who would... Actually, the last time she was in Melodifestivalen, she did exactly this. She made it straight to the final from the first semi, and then she only got 1 point there and then did second last. So maybe she could just go through for old time's sake or something. And then you never know. Pernilla Andersson has a large audience from the people who are maybe a bit more mature, maybe listen more to radio. I don't know how much they will vote, though. I have no idea what her song will sound like, but I would say if there comes a surprise here, that could be Pernilla Andersson.
I think my surprise is down as Anna Bok. Definitely, if one of those two younger acts don't get through. I think for last place, I've actually got Pernilla. I think she said that it's a very unusual chorus or unusual arrangement. So I think in slot 2 that might be quite bad for her.
There's a big risk, of course, that she will be the Sanna Salomonsson, Marie Bergman kind of act this year. But she has a certain popularity that many of these others lack. I mean, I don't think a name like Mimi Werner will mean a lot to most of the viewers, really.
Guys, can I actually add something? Because I think that Pernilla Andersson will not. She might very well be... Oh, I'm blabbing again, but I'm much more on your side, Gavin, than on Tobias' side, because I think that she will... The older audience might very well instead vote for Anna Bok, who will have an up-tempo, fun Schlager song that also can attract the younger kids. Whereas Pernilla Andersson might be the woman with a really nice voice, but with a song that doesn't really grab on to anyone.
It's quite an upbeat heat, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Anyway, over to Heat 2 in Malmö. We are starting with David Lindgren with We Are Your Tomorrow. Then Victor Onaton, 100%. Molly Pettersson-Hammer with Hunger. Isa, I Will Wait. Krista Sigfrids, Falla. Hey, this is going to be fun now, isn't it? Patrick Isaksson, Tommy Nilsson, and Uno Svenningsson. Holmichetta...
No, come on, you were so close, come on.
Yes,
you
almost
Holmichetta... I can't read my scribble,
yes, go ahead.
Hora. Is it Hora? Hora?
Hort.
That's it, I just couldn't read my writing. There we go. Does one of you want to say it fluently?
Håll mitt hjärta hårt.
There we go. And Victoria, Save Me. So, starting with you this time, Tobias.
Yes, what can I say about this one? Well, the obvious thing that I will need to say, of course, living in Finland, is that it's a big, big, big thing for a Finnish performer to take part in Melodifestivalen. Krista Sigfrids she has actually, since representing Finland in Malmö in 2013, she has built herself quite a career. She will actually be one of the hosts of the Finnish national final. I can't see how this is possible because they should be on the same night. Well, anyway, that's not my problem. But it's a huge thing for a Finnish performer to actually get invited to take part in Melodifestivalen.
Tobias,
It is so huge so that Krista has actually gotten that week off from the Finnish pre-selections.
Yes.
And she will be in Stockholm for the full week from either Sunday night or Monday morning, and then go on to her delfinal. It's in Malmö until Sunday that week.
Yes.
Tobias, do you want to explain the peculiar voting fascination between Finnish people living in Sweden and vice versa?
You mean with Swedish speakers in Finland?
Yes.
Well, we are 300. There's 300,000 of us, which is like roughly 5.5% of the population. But since there's not little, but there is less pop culture in Swedish in Finland, we always turn to Sweden and get our inspiration from there. I mean, you could clearly tell that Krista Sigfrids has been watching Melodifestivalen and not the Finnish finals. So I think that Finnish Swedes have this craving for Swedish pop culture, and maybe that's why she got invited, and while it will work out for her in Sweden. I don't know. I was thinking that she was there as a curiosity, that she would be there. If she hears this, she will kill me for this. But anyway, I thought that she would be there for a curiosity, to be someone to make up the numbers. That it would be nice to have someone come back. But now I've started thinking that they have plans for her, because I was watching the allocation draw on Monday, and when they had Eurovision flashbacks, Krista was there at least in 2 or 3 different clips, and I was thinking, what is this? Is this a surprise in the making?
The reason for that is, of course, that Krista was very colorful in Eurovision 2013. She was a character to remember, but I'm sure that she's not in Melodifestivalen as a curiosity, though. I would say that she's here because there are very few Swedish artists that want to perform songs that are modern type schlagers, the classic genre of a Swedish Melodifestivalen schlager song, but in a modern way. We would call it a pop schlager, or even something that Helene Fischer has had huge hits with in Germany. But lots of people wants to hear those songs in Melodifestivalen, but not a lot of artists want to perform them. But I think that is where Krista comes in, because she's done that sort of thing in Finland, and this is what she's gonna do performing here in Sweden with Faller as well. It's gonna be an upbeat pop song with a typical Schlager chorus, I'd say.
Yeah, and definitely. And she, as most other Finnish performers, would give both her arms and a kidney to have a career in Sweden, because it's worth a lot, and it's so unusual that Finnish performers actually make it big in Sweden. So there will be a lot of people crossing their fingers for her here that week. But that was the obvious thing, or that was the thing that you can put within brackets. Of course, I hope that Krista will have the potential to do Andra chansen at least, or maybe even be the surprise and go straight to the final. But what I was going to say is that I think that this semi-final somehow, it sort of underlines the problem I find in this entire edition of Melodifestivalen. There are lots of good names. There are lots of people here that are good, that can deliver. I don't have to fear anything. I think they will be good and stable and everything, but it doesn't feel very exciting. I don't feel like, yay, David Lindgren is back. And I don't feel like, wow, Isa, fantastic. It's like, it's a little bit lukewarm. I'm not really sure what to expect from these people. I expect it to be a good week, but nothing sensational, honestly.
I very much agree with you. I would say that this week is at least on paper, the weakest week. There are no real favorites. Although I want to put a flag onto the trio of old guys here, Patrik Isaksson, Tommy Nilsson, Uno Svenningsson. They're not going to do a Ravaillacs type of song. They're not going to do that humorous type of song. But with three guys that really can sing, if they do a performance that are TV-wise anything similar to Il Volo from Eurovision, from Italy, where you can really see three guys belting their voices out, doing a song that fits them, they can very well make it straight to the final on the same merits as Ravaillacs did. They were entertaining, they have a big audience, and they have great voices. Great voices might very well be, well, great voices is a very, very important thing in Melodifestivalen.
Yeah, I would agree with that. David Lindgren has said his song is a top 3. Is there much basis in that?
Well, David Lindgren, the thing is, he's not. He's having a career in Sweden right now on the musical stage, but also as a host of children's shows on TV. So he has quite a wide audience, both kids and the musical audience. But at the same time, he's not that much of a personality. He's a very, very sweet guy, and he knows how to perform. He can dance. This will be an up-tempo, upbeat pop music dance song, probably rather similar to his previous performances. But with that, he really needs to get that wow sensation again, and I'm not sure he can actually get that a third time. He got it the first time and made it. He was number 3 in the final. The second time he made it through from his semi to the final, but then it ended there. And he had a rather bad place in the final. But a third time, I would say that I doubt it, especially since in this heat you've got Molly Pettersson Hammar, who was snubbed of the final, or even Andra Chansen last year because of the voting app. You have Isa, who all the kids really liked her upbeat, girly pop Taylor Swift song last year. And now she's doing somewhat of a ballad, and that might impress people as well.
Do you think Sweden have gotten over the young guy with street dance going on behind him, that kind of big production, the Erik Saade type show? Do you think they've moved on?
Over it, but you need to be a very, very strong personality to carry it.
Yeah.
And with David, he's a great performer, but maybe not. He's not as egocentric as you might have to be if you're going to be the star in one of those street song performances.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a filler act rather than a headline.
Yeah, and that pudding has really been over-egged through the years. I mean, there has been so many of that kind of entries that I can understand that there's no craving for that anymore, that it feels a little bit old perhaps and a little bit done. So I think David Lindgren can be like really nice and really good and maybe make it to Andra Chansen, but I don't see this as a real hit either. If
you want to point out a wild card here, I would say that I'm quite excited to hear what Victoria is actually going for, since she goes out as number 7. She's last in the show. She's signed to Avicii's management. And the songwriters has also worked with Avicii in making several of his hits. So this might be something that we've never seen in Melodifestivalen before.
Yeah, she was available at over 10-1 to qualify at some point a few weeks ago. Even after the draw, the markets were very slow to pick her up. You said a few weeks ago to me that Christer said he was mixing things up a bit. Do you think he's mixing things up a bit by putting her last?
Yes, in this semi-final, I think that Christer has had a bit of fun. He didn't want to do it as he normally does, putting the biggest act going out last. He wanted to do something different here. But with that, putting Victoria last still puts quite a lot of weight on her shoulders, because that will make people expect a lot from her. And if she can deliver that, that's going to be really interesting to see.
Anything else to add from this heat?
Not really. I think this is a very, very, very open heat. I mean, anything basically can happen. But I actually think I will wave my Finnish flag here. Like looking closer to it, it looks quite good for Krista. Actually, I think she will have a chance to at least make it to Andra chansen. I hope she does.
I think so. Certainly, my early gambles have been on the male trio and Victoria. But anyway, moving on to Heat 3, and that's in Norrköping. In running order, we've got Saraha, with, I think, even a title the Swedes would struggle with. Swingfly and...
Come on! Kizungo Zungo!
Is that as simple as that?
Yeah, Kizungo Zungo.
It's got far too many syllables.
Kizungo Zungo.
There we go. Swingfly and Helena Gutara, You Carved Your Name. Smilo, Weight of the World. After Dark. Komut Some Kuena. Is that right?
Kuena.
Okay. Lisa Ajax, My Heart Wants Me Dead. Boris Rene, Put Your Love on Me. And Oskasia, Human. Torba, what stands out to you in this heat?
Well, the fact that Krister has put a ballad at the very end, because Oscar Sia's Human is supposed to be a ballad, that also makes the running order a bit different than he normally does. But that also points out that this might be the ballad of the year. But in this heat, myself, I'm mostly looking forward to see what After Dark can do out of Kom ut som en stjärna, come out as a star. This is, of course, Sweden's most well-known drag show act. They're celebrating 40 years this year. This is their third attempt in Melodifestivalen. Their first time with La Dolce Vita in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Finished top 3 in the final, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that this can very well be this year's children's act that's going to be loved by the children's audience.
So we're thinking maybe another Alcazar kind of thing.
Alcazar or Hasse Andersson or yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be Schlager-wise a very big hit as well on the Swedish Eurovision dance floors. Whereas I've heard that Boris René has a great voice, a great personality, and a great song. And the rest, I don't know. I was really expected a lot of Swingfly, because his song is written by Klerup, who has written quite a few major hits in Sweden, including one of Robin's major hits. But putting him as start number running order 2, then I doubt he's got a chance.
No, it didn't look a very positive move. He's been quite critical of Melodifestivalen, though, hasn't he?
Klerup?
Swingfly.
No, not at all. Swingfly is actually the guy telling everybody who is anybody in the music scene that you should definitely do Melodifestivalen. And when I did it the last time, I had a great time. And I know for a fact that he's been a name they've been looking for songs the last couple of years that they wanted him back.
Okay. I loved his last entry, Me and My Drum. It still plays in my car.
But that was also number 2 in its semi-final, wasn't it?
It was actually,
back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, it is true.
And I think perhaps that one will be the actual number 1 this week. I have a feeling that the song by Saraha, that's a curiosity. That kind of song, if I got the idea right, that it's this kind of exotic for a Swedish audience, a different kind of rhythm, with a title in a language nobody can pronounce. That kind of entry has a history of totally bombing in Melodifestivalen.
Very much so.
They get selected every once in a while, but they never do anything big there. So I have a feeling that will be more like a little interval act that comes on early, and then Swingfly is the real first contender. And then it's not a bad idea at all to be number 2.
I actually agree with you there, although the rumors say that this is not the song, this is not the strong song you expected when you heard Swingfly was teaming up with Joakim Åhlund and Andreas Klerup. But I hope you are right in what you're saying, because I'm quite looking forward to hearing Sarah Haas' song as well, because it's written by Arash. You might remember Arash Labaf, who came third in Eurovision together with Aysel, competing for Azerbaijan a couple of years ago, and he's like one of the biggest artists in the Middle East, even though he's half Swedish, half Iranian. No, he's Iranian, but brought up in Sweden, and he's got a major hit going on with Snoop at the moment. So I'm really looking forward to this song, and I'm hoping that this could be a big hit.
It was his name on the credits that made me interested in it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because ethno songs, they just don't seem to happen in Sweden at all, do they?
But then there's always a first time for everything, because there is this kind of entry that if it's written by Swedish songwriters and competing for, say, Cyprus or Azerbaijan or some other country at Eurovision, then Swedish people will vote for it. But if the same kind of song would be in Melodifestivalen, they would ignore it. But sometime it must happen that kind of entry would work already in Melodifestivalen. So who knows?
One person we haven't talked about is Lisa Ajax. Is there any word on that one? Because it's another Deb song.
Well, I don't know what you say, Tom, but I would say that she's one of these people. Maybe I'm totally off track here, but my idea of her is that she's one of these people who has been in a talent show. People sort of like her. She can sing. She has this kind of thing going for her, but she's mainly very nice and maybe not sensational enough.
For me, it kind of depends on what happened the week before. What happened with Molly Pettersson Hammar? What happened with Isa? Do the audience still just gonna love them, or were they not impressed by them, but will they instead be impressed by Lisa Ajax? Because I don't think all three of them is gonna make it through to the final. But with Lisa, she has a strong voice. She's got a likable personality. People like her. She's this young quirky girl. She's only 17, but she's got a very big voice. And with that, and a song written by the Debs, she might very well make it through at least to Andra chansen. But in this heat, well, I'm looking at it again. But Oscar Sia, Lisa Ajax, Boris René, and After Dark, I would bet those four are the ones.
Yeah, I looked at the song title and it didn't exactly make me want to vote for it already.
I was thinking that as well. This is one thing I've noticed lately that I can't give any examples because all the examples are escaping me. But giving this kind of title to a song, now I'm thinking also Christian Waltz.
What about Only the Dead Fish from a few years ago?
The Dead Fish, and also this like Suicide. That kind of title, I don't think that's a really good selling point, really, if you expect to win. I think you should have a title that it doesn't have to be positive, but maybe you should avoid talking about, I don't know, death.
Yeah. Oh, so in the next heat, then you're going to think that Linda Bengtzing might not make a very good result. Then
no, but Killer is another thing.
Okay.
Killer is another thing. I mean, Killer is one thing. Massacre, not so positive,
Right, shall we move on to Heat 4 then? That's in Gävle. First up, we've got Eclipse, Runaways, Dolly Style, Roller Coaster, Martin Stenmark, Du tar mig... I can't read my writing again.
Du tar mig tillbaks.
There we go. Linda Bensing with Killer Girl, and she describes that as Linda fucking Bensing, apparently. Franz, If I Were Sorry, Panatus, Hollow Me Ho, I think. Is that right?
What? Yeah.
Molly Sandin, Universe. So, Tobias.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say the obvious. I will state the obvious here, and that's that everyone expects Molly Sandén to go bang right through to the final.
I thought you were going to say Dolly Style. I'm disappointed now.
Well, we never. You don't know me at all, do you? I will tell you my opinion on Dolly Style in a while. Don't you worry. But Molly Sandén is the obvious one. If she if she doesn't make it through straight to the final in this semi-final, it must be the biggest surprise since Carola failed in 2008, I'd say. It's so given to her on a plate here, as far as I see it. What do you say, Tobbe?
I agree with you to a certain point, but not that it's given to her. But people will expect her to have a great song. Her ace up her sleeve is, of course, that the song is written by Danny. And Swedes feel that Danny deserves to win, or at least to make it through to the final, because people were so sad for him when he was so disappointed coming runner-up after Loreen in 2012, and people like him very much, and that he's written this song together with his girlfriend and she's performing it. That's going to be that's going to be like the tipping point. People are going to like the song, and that might make them love the song.
Yeah, exactly. But they like Molly as well. They've always liked her. I mean, she's likable, and I would be totally surprised. My jaw will be hanging, like lying on the floor, if this one doesn't go through. Then, on the other hand, I am not sure what to make of the rest of it, because Dolly Style have been popular, but they had a almost complete change of lineup since last time. Martin Stenmark, well, he failed to enthuse the audience already last time he was there. Linda Bengtzing has failed to enthuse the audience. Panetos have a distinct feeling that they were the surprise thingy, and I'd be surprised if they would do it a second time around. So I don't really know what to expect. Like, what will do really well here, apart from Molly, and then there's the rock song, of course.
Exactly. Don't forget about the rock song, because there has been no rock whatsoever all through Melodifestivalen. Come semi-final 4, starting out with Eclipse, who is also a proper rock band in the adult-oriented rock genre, but still they've got a following, and people that attend rock festivals in Sweden, they know who they are. Even if they might not be fans, they know who they are. And that might be a tipping point for them. When it comes to Dolly Style, well, the thing is, this is not a Dolly Style song. It was originally written and sent in by Gem last year, as far as I know. It was written by these guys, but the first artist that tried it out was Gem. SVT didn't want them this year, so they tried to see if they could find anybody else doing this song. And then it went to Dolly Style. I'm not sure they will actually be a contender this year at all. I do think that Linda Bengtzing, she failed last time because she did a song that people didn't expect from her. It wasn't her normal Linda Bengtzing Schlager shuffle. It was more. It was a bit rougher. It was a bit harder. It was a bit more rocky. Now she's described the song as Linda fucking Bengtzing, right? Exactly like you said, she did that in QX, Swedish QX. And she's also been very clear on this being in the genre of Linda Bengtzing, because that is a genre of its own. It's probably, as far as I've heard it described to me, it's more Hur svårt kan det vara rather than Jag ljuger så bra. As in a bit more modern production, a bit more harder, rougher production. But the song in itself is supposed to have a really catchy chorus and be fun, Linda Bengtzing-y type. But I would put a flag down for Frans, because Frans, when he was 6 years old, he had a major hit in Sweden with a song about our famous football player Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He has now turned 17. He is the cutest boy, 17-year-old boy you could ever see. Every girl will fall in love with him instantly. And if he can take that up on stage and make a Justin Bieber type of performance, then there you go. But if he's insecure and just, doesn't have the confidence to perform on stage, then he's out of it. But if he can call his inner Justin Bieber up and get that feeling on stage, he might very well be the contender.
Brilliant. I'd probably go along with much of that. I'd say Molly is the lock-in, but I would say Linda would be my other direct finalist, with maybe Franz and Eclipse going to Anders Jansson.
I just keep wondering, when it comes to an act like Linda Bengtzing, of course Magnus Carlsson had the surprise, had his success last year with going back to an older style of his.
Torbjörn, whatever you say now, don't speak ill of Linda Bengtzing. I'm
not going to. I'm not really, not directly. But I keep wondering that you
are going to speak ill of Linda Bengtzing now. I can hear it.
When will that train depart? That's my big question. When will the audience feel that she had a million chances to do the same thing and it never really worked out?
But the thing is, I don't think that the audience believes that, because she has had major hits out of all the songs except for the last one. People love it when they go out dancing. Everybody sings along to it. And
absolutely, I agree with this. I just wonder, is there a sell-by date for Linda Bengtzing? Or not for her, but for that kind of act? That's my point, rather.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not
but
sure.
But you just disagree with it.
I hear what you're saying, but the thing is, I think that if you keep on doing outdated stuff, if you're like a circus act doing your plaything and you're trying to do that over and over, and you don't keep on getting updated, yes, there will be a sell-by date. But if you do what is the thing your audience like with you, but also keep it a little bit up to date, modernize it, and keep on doing it, then I don't think there is a sell-by date.
I must add that I think that Linda Bengtzing has much greater chances than Martin Stenmarck, for instance. If you just do that comparison, I think that Linda Bengtzing will feel more fresh in this heat than Martin Stenmarck will, for instance.
I think Martin has probably got the worst running order slot, wedged between Linda and Dolly Style.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, he hasn't got a song written by a major writer at all, has he? It's his brother.
It's his brother, but also his brother did write Sju Mila Kliv, which is Martin's biggest hit, that was on the lists on the charts in Sweden for over a year. When was this? Was this 2011?
2007, I'd say. It was like 2 years after Las Vegas or something. It was his first sort of reinvention of himself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'll withdraw everything I've said.
Okay. I think we've exhausted that heat. I don't think we've got a winner here, have we? Anywhere? Does anyone know who's going to win?
This might very well be a year of Robin Stjernberg, where the winner will be somebody that takes Sweden by storm, somebody that surprises the audience, something like Anna Bergendahl or Robin Stjernberg, unless it is Molly Sandén.
Yeah, it's a little bit, when you say that, if Christer would hear us, he would have the shivers, because neither Robin nor Anna really made it big in Eurovision. It could be that kind of year, but it could also be that one of these acts has something fantastic. It's just that we are not able to foresee it, given their merits, etc., and our expectations of their songs and songwriters. There could be something fantastic in here, but that we won't know until we've heard it.
If I were to go and listen to the gossip right now, which I do, of course, I listen to gossip every day. That's part of my work. I would say I'd like to mention a few names, and it is Molly Sandén, of course. It's also Ace Wilder, but that has dropped a bit in the last couple of weeks. With Ace Wilder, it's all going to be about how her performance is, how the act is, if it's a big show. But two more names is actually Boris René and Bengtsson. What's his name? Robin. And also Oscar Sia. Those five. 2 girls, 3 solo guys. doing their own thing. All those three are songs and acts that people are mentioning that these might very well, don't count them out. Newcomer Boris Garnier, Idol comeback guy Robin Bengtsson, Oscar Sia, who does his third attempt in Melodifestivalen, and then Molly Sandén with a song written by her beloved boyfriend.
Yeah, so there's the dark horses. So we're assuming Victoria isn't on that list.
Not in the latest gossip, but that might very well change.
Okay. Tobias, have you got any names that you'd like to flag up as potential winners?
Well, you're going to mention Krista.
No, it almost looks like it could be the year of Samir and Victor finally. Like I've been waiting for, longing for, aching for ever since last year. No, I'm not going to say Krista. That's far too outlandish. I hope that Krista would get to the final. That's as far as I will go with that. But I say that it looks to me that Molly Sandén would be the obvious one, but it would be wonderful if someone came completely out of the blue. If there was somebody who actually, if they would find this Carola moment that they always talk about, like when Carola was in Melodifestivalen for the first time and she was completely unknown, or basically completely unknown, and then suddenly just make it big overnight. Something like that would be wonderful television, and I would hope for that.
Absolutely, but the last two times that we thought we had a Carola moment, we've had Anna Bergendahl and Robin Stjernberg.
Yes, but I mean,
Eurovision.
I mean, of course, a real Carola moment. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, a complete unknown that makes it to third place in Eurovision. That would be nice.
We want a Eurovision winner. We want to do an Ireland and win 3 years in a row here.
Yeah, so does Krista think he's got that?
Yeah, but it's Finland's turn now, so sorry.
Whatever. Finland, yeah. We don't want to go to Helsinki because your bars close at like 1.
If you saw our weather today, nobody would go to Helsinki today.
I did a stopover in Helsinki last Friday and it was minus 26 degrees Celsius. I will never ever go to Finland again. Oh, that was rude. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Just you wait.
But the thing is, Krista claims to have at least 2 Eurovision winners amongst these songs.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
There we go. Heard it first here. I think that's it. So we're going to be back for a final preview once we know who's qualified and got through second chance. But we're also going to be here for a Finland podcast, which will feature Tobias. So just to thank Tobias.
You're welcome.
And Torba.
Thank you.
And we'll talk again soon. So that's it for now. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
ESCtips.com will return with another show soon. In the meantime, show us some love by following us and sharing this podcast with your Facebook and Twitter friends.